We are seeing younger voters come out in record numbers. We are seeing Latinx community come out in record numbers. And that's a really big deal because when you think back to the Obama coalition, you look at that data, the big piece that was really important that split a place like Florida, North Carolina, was that youth vote, the Latinx, Black community, really that coalition that came through. And so the fact that we're seeing this in these early votes really matters as we start to really look at what the trend and what the momentum is. I will say in this election cycle, it is even more telling because this is so unusual that one of the things every campaign worries about is what happens to our supporters that on that very last day to vote, something comes up and they don't come to vote. Now what we're seeing is folks are voting early, folks are making a plan, and the fact that we're seeing that early really does give a lot of confidence for what we're not only going to see on election day, but what we're going to see out of these results.
What happens to staunch Trump supporters if Biden does win? It's not as if things will necessarily go back to the way they were before 2016. We now understand that there is a huge portion of the American people who have supported Trump, support his policies, and there seems to be some concern that it's not going to necessarily be a smooth transition among the public if we do get Biden, if we do see Biden take the presidency.
I think that's one of the important aspects that folks were very worried about in that first debate when you heard President Trump talk about whether or not he would support a peaceful transition of power. But what we are now seeing is we're seeing Biden grow in momentum, and all along the way he has said, "I'm American. I'm an American president for all people." That's a really important aspect should this happen, because there is concern and there is worry that if Biden wins, does Trump try and actually intensify that kind of sentiment after you've lost an election? And there's a real worry about that. But what I see coming at us is I see a president, potential president, a future president, who has consistently said, I'm an American president for all Americans. And I think that's a really important piece to this all. It'll also depend on what we see out of Republicans, out of the Senate and the House, how they respond to this moment. And one thing that's really important is even if Trump doesn't necessarily want to agree with the results, remember there are tons of down ballot races where Republicans are running, and they're also going to be winning in some of these races. And so they find themselves and will find themselves in a very precarious position should Biden win and Trump lose, and Trump tries to really question the results of this campaign or this election cycle.